So if you do more cardio than calisthenics and resistance training, your body's going to have no reason to store that muscle or build that muscle.
I know you see it when it's too hard to believe in, cause you're witnessing the closest people leaving.
What's going on, YouTube? You're back with the Prez. We're in Juniper Park today. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys the best way to go about programming your calisthenic training. Now I'm going to be going over specific requirements, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced trained athlete. And this is going to be all calisthenics focused today. So I'm going to be teaching you guys the optimal way to set up your programming so you can consistently make progress and hit goals down the line. So we're going to start off just by giving you a quick little breakdown of actually how I define calisthenics and the purpose of my channel, which I've told you guys many times in the past. Calisthenics, bottom line, simplest definition is being able to master your body through space, right? You want to be able to control your body weight as a form of resistance. There's many types of resistance training, right? You could use barbells, dumbbells, weight vests, rubber bands, cables, or your body weight, right? Anything that moves through gravity and your body weight, in that case is the load, is a form of resistance training. So like I said, I'm going to be teaching you guys the best way to go about scheduling your calisthenic program to help you guys progress from beginner to intermediate or intermediate to advanced, or if you're advanced, teach you guys how to consistently build muscle and progress with your training. So, like I said, from day one, the premise of this channel has always been to teach you guys that you guys could build a strong, aesthetic physique by just mastering your body weight and by just doing calisthenic training. You don't need gym memberships, you don't need fancy equipment, you don't need power racks, you don't need anything. All you really need is a pull-up bar, a dip bar, ideally, and the floor to work on, right? In time, it'd be very advantageous of you, and it'll only help you progress more. You could still use the same modalities of equipment, but if you guys can start using external resistance, meaning weighted calisthenics down the line, that'll only help you progress in a much easier fashion. So, let's get down to business now. For beginners, the most important thing that comes down to your overall programming when you're a beginner calisthenic athlete, meaning you're just getting into it, you're just learning the basics, is frequency. The least important thing now is variety of exercises. Remember, you build a house with a strong foundation, right? You have to build a strong foundation the same way with your body in order to progress down the line and get into more advanced type of training routines. So like I said, the number one most important thing when you're a beginner is frequency of hitting the basic movements. Now, the way I would set up a beginner's program would be a full body type split. Now remember, when you're a beginner, any type of consistent routine that you get into is going to elicit some type of changes. If you could go from doing nothing all day, sitting on the couch, eating chips and cookies, to starting to go to work out, you want to start with the most minimal effective dose. Because remember, like I've said in the past, it's very easy to add things on down the line. But if you get into a rut where you're so used to doing so much work, and that work is too much, it's going to be a mental drainage for you if you have to start taking exercises away from your routine. So it's always better to start with a minimal effective dose and add on down the line. So like I said, as a beginner, I would recommend training on a full body type of routine where you give your body at least one day in between each training session to recover. Because again, as a beginner, once you start exercising, your body's going to feel a stress that it's not used to feeling, right? You're going to get sore than usual, and your body's going to need to use that recovery time to rebuild, repair, and set you up to get into the next session. So like I said, frequency is the number one thing that you got to focus on as a beginner. So let's give a little example of using frequency in a beginner training program split when we're focusing on a full body split. So let's just say, for instance, I would have a beginner start training 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, full body fashion with, remember, just the minimal basic exercises. So what you guys want to master: pull-ups, push-ups, dips, body weight squats, L-sits. Those 5 movements should be in your rotation every training session. Because like I said, frequency is going to be king for you guys. The more you can practice a movement, the better you're going to get at it, and the stronger you're going to be able to get at it. Now, like I said, for a beginner, let's just say it's your very first day going to the park to hit a calisthenic routine. Let's just say, for instance, I give you a routine. All right, we're gonna hit 3 sets of 10 push-ups, 3 sets of 3 pull-ups, 3 sets of 6 dips, and we're gonna hit 1 minute total L-sit time, and we're gonna aim for 50 bodyweight squats as a beginner, depending on the person's level, right? That's very basic beginner workout to start off with. Probably gonna run through about 45 minutes total with the rest times, and the day after, they're probably gonna feel a little sore, right? So if I was to give, let's just say we're gonna do 100 push-ups on day 1, 50 pull-ups on the first day, we're gonna aim for 75 dips, we're gonna aim for 150 squats. That person's body is gonna be extremely shocked the next day, and it's gonna need numerous days to recover from that, and it might deter them from getting back into the routine. So you always wanna start in a very minimalistic fashion. Like I said, the minimal effective dose that's gonna elicit the most change for the beginning period that you start working out. So Monday, full body session. Like I said, I would have you start with the basics. We're gonna do sets of pull-ups depending on whatever level you're at, and we're not gonna fatigue you too much. We're gonna run through dips, we're gonna run through push-ups, and we're gonna run through squats in more of a bodybuilding style fashion where we're working on sets and repetitions on day 1. That would be Monday. Tuesday comes, we're gonna rest. Now, if you have a goal of weight loss, again as a beginner, and you have some excess body fat to work off, on these off days, that's where I would recommend focusing on your cardio sessions. You don't want to mix them all together, right? You definitely don't want to do the cardio before your calisthenic exercises. That's going to take away energy that you could be focusing on during your session. And whatever you prioritize is what your body's going to prioritize, right? So if you do more cardio than calisthenics and resistance training, your body's going to have no reason to store that muscle or build that muscle. Now on an off day, if you want to lose some fat, that's when I recommend doing some type of cardio training. Low intensity work, 20 to 30 minutes, steady state incline walking, go for a jog, go for a bike ride. Nice, slow and steady jump rope, right? Nothing too excessive, nothing that's gonna fatigue the nervous system any more than it already feels from the first day of the training. Now, day 2, Wednesday, what are we gonna train again? We're gonna train pull-ups again, we're gonna train dips again, we're gonna train push-ups again, and we're gonna train L-sits again, and we're gonna train squats again. What we're gonna do differently today, instead of working on repetitions now, reps and sets, now we're gonna switch the focus onto isometrics. So, if we can hit a max, let's just say our max pull-up count on our day 1 was 5 pull-ups for a set. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on isometric holds, chin over the bar. We're gonna aim for 5 sets of 3 to 5 second holds, building up time under tension slowly. We're gonna take nice long break periods, 2 to 3 minute breaks in between each set. When it comes to push-ups, we're gonna stay working on push-ups now, but again, now we're gonna work more of an isometric hold. Same thing for dips. Dips we're gonna go a little slower, trying to hit pauses on the bottom, pauses on top. Again, very low volume, because as a beginner, you're focusing on building strength. You build strength by hitting lower volume repetitions, keeping the intensity rather moderate, because again, when you're a beginner, everything's gonna be rather new to you, things are gonna be a little more difficult. That's what's gonna bring the intensity of these exercises, right? Then we're gonna again work on squats. We're gonna work on isometric squat holds. Same thing, push-ups, dips, squats, L-sits, pull-ups, all in a different manner. And again, if you cannot do pull-ups yet on day 1 as a beginner, I would have had you doing band-assisted repetitions. And how would we work on day 2? You would be in a band again, and you would use that band to get you up so you could do the isometric holds. Same thing for dips. I would have your knees in a band and have you repping out band-assisted dips for your repetitions on your first day. So now we went through day 1 where we're doing reps and sets, more bodybuilding style, 3 sets of however many repetitions is suitable for your level. And again, you don't want to fatigue yourself too much. You never want to go to failure as a beginner, right? Day 2, Tuesday, was your cardio or your rest day. Day 3 of the routine, again, it's the same exercise, but now we're focusing on more isometric work. And now we're going to back to Thursday, the 4th day of the week. Again, another rest day for your body, because that isometric training is going to take a toll on the nervous system a little bit. So you want to let the body recover, be fresh for your 3rd full body session of the week. And now we're going back into the same exact exercises, guys. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, L-sits. And remember, you guys, depending on what you're weakest at, which typically most people are going to be weakest at pull-ups when they're starting, you guys want to prioritize the first exercise each session should always be the pull-up, right? Or whatever is your weakest movement. If you're stronger in pull-ups than you are in dips, prioritize dips first, right? But I'm pretty sure pull-ups or dips should be your main focus on your exercise, because I'm pretty sure push-ups, bodyweight squats, and L-sits really should have a less importance because they're typically easier movements to get done, right? And you can typically do more repetitions with them. So whatever your weakest movement in, whether it is pull-ups or dips, that's what you want to start the workout with. Again, now day 3, we're going to go back to volume, because remember, the more volume, meaning the more repetitions you could get under your belt, the more practice that you're actually getting in that skill. And the routine's going to be the same. We're going to go with repetition for pull-ups, repetitions for dips, repetitions for bodyweight squats, repetitions for push-ups, and then static isometric holds for our L-sit, maybe increasing the static time 3 to 5 seconds from what we did on day 1, right? Very slow progress, slow linear progression, build up to big progressions over time. Then you want to take Saturday, Sunday off. Again, you want to throw in a cardio session one of those days, by all means, go for it if your goal is overall fat loss. But remember, if you're starting out and you have a goal of dropping fat and building muscle, if you're training resistance training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you're doing your cardio Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that Sunday has to be a rest day. You don't want to teeter off and do cardio again on Sunday, because now you're tipping the scales where you're doing cardio more days a week than you're doing resistance training. It should be a 50-50 split minimally. Ideally, you want to focus 60% or more on the resistance training, 40% less on the cardio. So if you're training Monday, Wednesday, Friday resistance training for 45 minutes to an hour, hitting Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday cardio sessions for 20 to 30 minutes is going to still tip the scales where you're focusing more on resistance training for the majority of the time, right? But now you start throwing in that 4th day, now you're doing 4 days as opposed to 3 days of cardio, which you don't want to do. So remember, beginner, you guys are going to be training as a beginner. You guys got to give yourself at least 3 months minimum before you can say you're no longer a beginner in calisthenics, right? Because like I said, beginners are going to be starting out mostly in a strength building phase where everything's going to be low volume. And listen, beginners should still be a beginner until they're passing probably 20 reps on the dip bar per set, 30 to 40 reps on the push-up bar per set, 10 pull-ups per set, and we're talking 3 sets minimum of each of these exercises, 30 to 40 bodyweight squats per set, with being able to hit these in a routine, in one given routine. So you're going to be building up from working on sets of about 3 to 5 pull-ups, maybe 6 to 10 dips, maybe 10 to 15 push-ups for 3 sets as a beginner, up until you can hit those higher numbers. And again, it's going to be the same basic movement patterns. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, L-sits. Don't get me wrong, you could also change the variety of these movements, right? You can do close grip push-ups, you can do neutral grip pull-ups, you could do chin-ups as well. All these variety of movements should stay in the routine as a beginner. Let's just say, for instance, we're going in and we want to hit 4 sets of pull-ups on one day. You can do 2 sets of pull-ups, 1 set of chin-ups, 1 set of neutral grip pull-ups, all on the same day, right? But remember, you want to start with the minimal effective dose. So if on week 1 you're only doing 3 sets of pull-ups for 5 repetitions, 3 sets of dips for 6 to 8 repetitions, 3 sets of push-ups for 10 to 12 repetitions, 3 sets of squats for 10 to 15 reps, and 10 to 15 second holds at a time on the L-sit. By week 2, now let's increase the pull-ups. Let's aim for 3 sets of 4 to 6 reps on pull-ups, right? Or 4 sets of 3 to 5 as opposed to 3 sets, right? Remember, slow jumps. Over time, over a 3-month period, you're going to be able to increase very linearly from those 3 rep pull-ups up to those 10 to 15 rep sets of pull-ups, right? Slow and steady. The more isometric work you do, the more practice with reps and sets you do over time consistently, that's when your body's going to start making the changes and it's going to start understanding these movements and being able to get better and better at them. But again, in the beginning, for the first 3 months, you guys shouldn't try handstands. There shouldn't even be muscle-up thoughts in your head. Levers, back levers, ring work, and none of that should even be a thought in your head until you guys can master those higher rep ranges of the basic exercises. So, beginners, you guys want to focus on, ideally, 3-day minimum full body routine, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And let's just say a month down the line you start making great progress, you want to add in a 4th day of training. Now maybe what you can start doing now is, instead of looking at it as Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday off, you could look at it as a bigger picture where you're training 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off. And if you ever need to take that 2 days off, go for it. But now you can start looking at the training split as a bigger picture as opposed to a week-long block, and you can look at it more as a month-long block, right? Again, still focusing day in, day out on full body routine, and over time, as you get stronger and stronger at the movements that you were once weaker with, now you can start playing around with the order of the exercises that you're doing, right? It doesn't always have to be so mundane, but in the beginning, until you start mastering your pull-ups, mastering your dips, whatever one you're weakest at, and again, if it's pull-ups is weakest, then dips are weakest, it should be pull-ups first in routine, then dips, then you can work on bodyweight squats, then you can work on push-ups and L-sits towards the end, right? So program the routine accordingly. Stay tuned. I'm also going to be releasing videos of how to program your routines if you're an intermediate, as well if you're an advanced athlete. So I hope this gave a little insight to you beginners of how you should go about programming your calisthenic routine, so you can consistently make progress week to week to get yourself to that intermediate level where you can start training handstands, levers, things like that. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you guys out. This will help you take your training to the next level. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section. I always get back to you guys. Share the video with your friends, your family. Helps the algorithm out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification so you know every time I drop a new video. And like always, guys, peace out. BARNATURALS.
They all love to talk, you know they do that shit the most. Think you on my level, boy, but you ain't even close.